Hey there, sitting at the top of some mountain in Quito at about 4,000 meters, over 13,000 feet, completely out of breath. Thought this would be a good day to do a video on high altitude sickness. We'll do a PowerPoint and break down the numbers here. Okay, let's get into the PowerPoint aspect of this because you know I love my PowerPoints. Let's talk about high altitude sickness by the numbers. This is not medical advice. It's a YouTube travel channel. What is altitude sickness? Simply, it's the body's inability to adapt to quickly lowering oxygen levels at higher elevations. We need oxygen. Our bodies like oxygen. It sucks when we don't have it. And our body tells us that it doesn't have enough oxygen by inducing headaches, nausea, and other unpleasant digestive issues, dizziness, and fatigue. For some reason, it's always worse for me the second night. Maybe because I'm all excited when I get there, but it hits me more the next day. The way to make your second day a lot worse is to drink a lot the first night. Don't do that. I learned that lesson in Bogota. So, what's going on here? Um, as we go higher, the amount of oxygen in the air drops. The effective percentage at sea level is 21%. That's normal. We're happy. Our bodies are happy. As we go higher and higher, we start losing effective percent of oxygen. Basically, there's just less oxygen molecules in the air to feed our bodies. And as you can see, when we hit around that 8,000 foot mark, we're getting into the risk of acute mountain sickness, AMS. Are you there? But let's look at some common places we might travel to. Places I've been. Medellin, Colombia. As you can see, it's in that below 5,000 feet range. So sort of in that normal range, right at the top of it. So it's not too bad. It's why so many people love it. You know, it's constantly in the 70s, sunny, and not killing you in altitude. Um, Boulder, Colorado, just a little above that. You might start to feel it up there if you're not super healthy. Um, this is where it really hits you hard. Bogota. So, for example, let's say you fly from sea level in the United States to Bogota and you go out and have a few drinks tonight. First night you get there. Not saying anyone I know has ever done that. That's when you get hit hard with it because you really can start to feel it at the Bogota level. Quito, Ecuador, the destination I'm at, that's at 9,000 feet. I think my hotel is at 9,000 exactly. You really feel it up there, and it takes a while to adjust. Never been to Bolivia, but here you start to see how you can get up kind of higher. Oop, these are a little out of order, actually. Sorry about that. So, um, it can get really bad. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute. I wanted to go over kind of what's going on here. As you go up in altitude, the oxygen levels start to drop, and your body senses it. So after a few hours up at altitude, your body senses it and your kidneys start sending out the appropriate hormones to tell your body to start making red blood cells. Because I don't know if you remember your anatomy from school, but red blood cells are the things that carry oxygen around in our body. So if you're living in a world with less oxygen, you want to increase the carrying capabilities. So you need more red blood cells. People that live chronically at higher altitudes, like the Sherpas on Mount Everest, they're born up there, they've got much higher levels of red blood cells than what those of us living down at sea level do. So your body will adapt and start producing red blood cells. But as you can see, it's not fast. So if you pop up to uh, let's say Bogota or Quito, Colombia, or Quito, Ecuador, um, for 2 or 3 days for a weekend from sea level. You take a jet, you fly up there. There's no adjustment time. You're hit, and your body's never going to adapt while you're up there. So you're going to be suffering from this. And that's okay. You can still have fun. You just need to take it easy. What you don't want to do is shoot up to like 20,000 feet. Nobody would do that. I mean, you'd be sick as a dog and have to come back down. So after 3 to 5 days, you start building up some adaptation in your body. After almost a couple weeks, you're starting to really see a measurable rise, and after a month or so, you've got a substantial improvement in your oxygen carrying capabilities. And so it will get better, but it's going to take a while, is what I'm saying. Now, for the most part, what you're plagued with is, like I said earlier, fatigued, you get headaches a little bit, digestive issues and or whatnot. At your typical altitude, your Bogota, your Quito, you're probably going to only experience those, but it can get quite bad. If you get to the point where you're having any of these symptoms, and we're not going to dwell on this because this is a travel channel, not a wilderness medicine class, but confusion, disorientation, slurred speech, any of these horridly sounding things, frothy pink sputum, worsening cough, shortness of breath. I mean, you're going, of course, climbing stairs, you might feel a little bit, but if you get any of these really, really severe symptoms, seek medical attention and descend. So, how to prevent altitude sickness? Well, you really can't. It's just more how to mitigate it. The best way to prevent it, live at sea level, don't go high. Short of that, uh, gradual ascents. This is what the Everest hikers do. They spend weeks going higher and higher and higher. Not really an option for most of us travelers. Restful days. Plan to take it easy the first few days. Start to acclimate. Probably the biggest thing is hydrate, 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 hydrate. Not only is this good for prevention and mitigation of altitude sickness, is you're going to be hitting these higher environments like Bogota, like Quito, like Cuenca, certainly the Peru places. Most of these higher elevations are extremely dry elevation areas as well. So you want to hydrate. You want to avoid alcohol. I know this is hard, especially for me, but alcohol makes it worse. Keep it light. There are, well, there is a medication that you can take, uh, a couple days before you go and while you're at altitude. Uh, Diamox or acetam. I'm not even going to try it. This medicine here, I'll put it in the comments. You can go to a doctor and ask for prescription. Um, my GP back in the States thought this was a great thing. He did wilderness medicine. He prescribed this. I've used it 2 or 3 times. I didn't think it helped. I've tried it with and without. Yeah, your mileage may vary. Doesn't hurt anything. If you really are planning on hardcore about this, you can start sleeping in altitude tents, which start dropping your percentage of oxygen and starts helping you develop those red blood cells. There are local remedies. I don't have them in the chart here, but I will talk about them real fast. Locals sometimes recommend, at least here in the Andes, um, cocoa tea. Basically, it's a tea made with cocaine leaves, you know. Does it help? I don't know. I've tried drinking it. They make candy. They sell it on the streets. Candies are quite good. You might like it just for that. I don't think the tea is a bad tea either. Does it help you? I haven't really noticed it, but I still drink it because I like the tea. The one caution I did see that it can cause you to test positive for cocaine. If that's an issue for you, you might want to avoid it. Obviously, it's not really cocaine, but you could get a false positive if you're drinking the tea. And frankly, I wouldn't try to bring it back across U.S. borders because the dogs might sniff it out and you might have a bad day with the border guards. Just a warning. Okay, one of the old wives' tales is the cocoa candy or the cocoa tea. I don't know if it helps. I took one before I came up. I'm not feeling too bad. It's certainly not scientific. I think I'll take another one just because they're quite tasty. Okay, a final thought on this is, a general theme of this channel is old people. And, I use a CPAP machine, so I have looked up CPAP at altitude. Now, I take my CPAP with me. I've used it at Bogota, Quito, and Cuenca for altitude, Medellin as well. Uh, Cuenca, Bogota, right at the top limits of the ResMed CMed or CPAP. These are quotes right out of the manual, and I'll add a link to the manuals for all these devices. So ResMed is a popular one. AirSense 2 AirSense 10 is kind of their most modern model, and it has an operating altitude of sea level to 8,500 feet. ResMed Mini, right out of the manual, says to 2,591 meters, which, as you can see, is also 8,500 feet. So they're the winners for altitude. Philips DreamStation, if anyone's still using these after the recall fiasco, it's rated up to 7,500 feet. So if you're really looking at altitude, maybe you want to look at these ResMeds. I certainly do. That's what I use. Okay, enough with PowerPoint. Okay, well, the cocoa candy's kicking in, or I'm just moving slow. One or the other. I feel pretty good. I'm going to head down and probably feel a little bit better at the bottom. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be making more soon. I'll hopefully see you out traveling. Take care. Bye.